The girl had simply photoshopped the God of Wealth's image to look like her boyfriend. Little did she expect that the very next day, the God of Wealth himself showed up at her door. It turned out that her official announcement with him the previous night had damaged his divine status. To repair it, the two were required to form a one-year romantic contract. However, the girl thought he was mentally unstable and scoffed at his words. But the man simply pointed a finger, and the broom in her hand visibly turned into solid gold. The girl couldn't help but start to believe he might indeed be the God of Wealth. Just then, her mother called, demanding that she bring the boyfriend from her social media post home that very day. Left with no choice, the girl decided to take a chance and bring him along, promising to sign the contract if he helped her deal with her parents. Although the God of Wealth knew nothing about this mortal custom, he agreed to her request to secure the contract. However, due to his unstable divine status, his wealth energy was leaking uncontrollably, causing money to constantly spray from his pockets. The girl, thinking he was just showing off, picked up the cash and hurriedly dragged him into a taxi. The next moment, the trunk burst open, spewing money everywhere. Upon arrival, the God of Wealth attempted to pay the fare with a gold ingot, but the driver thought it was fake and accused him of trickery. The girl finally resolved the situation by scanning a QR code to pay. She then brought the God of Wealth home. Her mother was instantly delighted to see her daughter's handsome boyfriend, warmly invited him to sit down, and began interrogating him about his family background. The God of Wealth straightforwardly stated he didn't own a house in the mortal realm. Upon hearing this, the mother immediately concluded he was a penniless man with no car or property, and that even his good looks couldn't provide a stable life for her daughter. The father, however, said that children have their own fortunes. To avoid embarrassing his future son-in-law, he invited him to lend a hand in the kitchen. Once in the kitchen, the God of Wealth remembered the kitchen god could assist. He immediately contacted him, and a table full of delicacies appeared. When the girl's father took meat from the fridge to cook, he was astonished by the sudden feast. Learning the man had prepared it, he grew even more approving of this capable prospective son-in-law. Even the mother-in-law, who had previously criticized his lack of wealth, completely changed her attitude. After everyone had eaten their fill, the girl's cousin and her husband arrived for a New Year visit. The husband immediately boasted about his newly bought BMW and deliberately suggested the girl come work at his company, his words laced with sarcasm about her low salary. This scene greatly displeased the God of Wealth. He guaranteed the girl would have more money than she could ever spend. The cousin's husband immediately mocked him for bragging. The cousin joined in, saying one should always find a rich boyfriend, and began showing off an expensive bracelet her husband bought her. In response, the God of Wealth grabbed a handful of sunflower seeds, placed them in the girl's hand, and used his divine power to turn them directly into gold. The girl was stunned. But knowing this ability to turn items into gold must remain secret, she quietly pocketed the golden seeds. The cousin's family continued their deliberate provocation, asking if the girl's year-end bonus was enough to buy a BMW, and mocking them for still being unable to afford a house. Afraid the God of Wealth would reveal the truth and his identity, the girl quickly covered his mouth, lying that they were saving up and would buy a house soon. The cousin's husband then launched into sarcasm, saying that with a man's capability, he couldn't afford a house even working for 8 lifetimes. The God of Wealth had finally had enough. He immediately produced 10 property deeds, stating he owned plenty of houses. Before anyone could recover from their astonishment, the God of Wealth then brought out dozens of high-end luxury sports cars, each worth millions.